To take something that is offered. Accept. In accepting a formal invitation, it is important to respond appropriately. To give something to someone or make it available to them. Provide. Our company provides our customers with clothing at reasonable prices. To put something in a particular place where people can see it easily. Display. He is an artist whose paintings are displayed in a museum in Paris. To form a picture of something in your mind. Imagine. In an increasingly connected world, many people can't imagine life without the Internet. To provide something that is needed. Satisfy. We cannot satisfy consumer demand without importing goods and services. To have a feeling of great respect for someone. Admire. Helen Keller, admired for her work on behalf of people with disabilities, visited Japan 3 times. To increase the amount or level of something. Raise. Dad, if my grades improve by the end of the term, would you mind raising my allowance? To become aware of someone or something. Notice. Have you ever noticed the different approaches people use to deal with problems? A large landmass surrounded by sea. Continent. In the 1930s, flights across the continent were not common. The place that someone is going to. Destination. Thanks to the good weather, we arrived at our destination an hour ahead of schedule. The general impression that you have in a particular place. Atmosphere. Many cafes try to create a relaxing atmosphere so that customers can enjoy their tea break. The process of making or growing something for sale in large quantities. Production. Because of seasonable production patterns, the majority of Mexico's oranges arrive in the U.S. market from December through June. An arrangement to meet with someone at a particular time. Appointment. Did you call the dentist and make an appointment for the treatment? Someone who has a particular skill or who knows a lot about something. Expert. In the past, the old used to be looked upon as experts in solving various problems in life. A person who lives near you. Neighbor. I saw a cat sneaking into my neighbor's yard. The process of building something, such as houses, bridges, roads, etc. Construction. The construction of the new building is underway. Feeling pleased and satisfied about something that you have done. Proud. Graduating from university is a huge accomplishment, and you should be proud of yourself. Costing a lot of money. Expensive. Making energy-saving changes in the home can be expensive, but it will save your money in the long run. Not present at a usual or expected place. Absent. In my school, When a regular teacher is absent, another teacher teaches the class instead. Having the ability to do something. Capable. According to the newspaper, even a teenager is capable of sailing a yacht around the world alone. To allow someone to do something. Permit. Children of 6 and under are not permitted to use the swimming pool unless they are with an adult. To take part in something. Participate. The most important thing in the Olympics is not to win, but to participate. To be liked or wanted by someone. Appeal. Benjamin Day is remembered as a revolutionary figure who showed that newspapers could appeal to a mass audience. To move something quickly. Shake. We nod our heads up and down for yes, and shake them left and right for no. To come near to someone or something. Approach. There were 2 vehicles on the road approaching the signal. To examine how things or people are similar or different. Compare. Compared with the same period last year, industrial production rose by 1% this year. To tell someone about something in a way that helps them understand it better. Explain. The engineer explained how to operate the sophisticated system. To deal with someone or something in a particular way. Treat. I am extremely fond of animals, and I can't stand anyone treating them with cruelty. The feeling that good things will happen in the future. Expectation. It's quite hard for new companies to live up to customers' expectations. A cause or an explanation for why something happens or why someone does something. Reason. The reason I get along well with my best friend is that we have many things in common. Difficult situations that make you feel worried. Pressure. We've been working under so much pressure lately in our office that we all need a holiday. The area of a town that surrounds your home. Neighborhood. The leaves in my neighborhood have recently turned yellow. Physical damage or injury caused by a person or an event. Harm. We must keep in mind that smoking does us more harm than good. The official line that separates 2 countries or regions. Border. The Rio Grande is the river that forms a natural border between the United States and Mexico. The act of buying something. Purchase. Products can be exchanged up to 2 months after purchase. The facts or objects which cause you to believe that something exists or is true. Evidence. There is evidence that TV leads people to accept more violence in everyday life. Useful or suitable for a particular purpose. Convenient. Traveling by private jet can be convenient provided you can afford to own one. having a duty of dealing with or looking after someone or something. Responsible. He is responsible for preparing the report. Easy to notice or understand. Obvious. From the look on his face, it was obvious that he did not get much sleep last night. Created by human beings to copy something natural. Artificial. The restaurant was decorated with artificial flowers. To tell your ideas for other people to consider. Suggest. I suggested to Mary that she come with me to collect empty cans on the street. To make someone do something they do not want to do. Force. Because he came down with the flu, he was forced to stay at home for a week. To do something special or enjoyable to show that an occasion or event is important. Celebrate. A tree is a unique gift to celebrate an important day, such as your wedding anniversary. To think about someone or something in a particular way. Regard. People, depending on their culture, may regard being on time differently. To make something more attractive by putting things on it. Decorate. The museum which I visited was beautifully decorated with antique furniture. To allow someone to use something that belongs to you for a period of time. Lend. I don't think my father is willing to lend us the car, but I'll see if I can talk him into it. To put something that is broken or not working properly back into good condition. Repair. Elevator mechanics are responsible for repairing elevators when they are out of order. To show that something exists. Indicate. Many electrical goods have a small light to indicate that the power is on. A person who is traveling in a vehicle, plane, boat, etc., and who is not driving it or working on it. Passenger. When young passengers see a woman flying their plane, they come to accept female pilots as a natural phenomenon. The act of carefully thinking about, listening to, or watching someone or something. Attention. When you try on shoes, pay attention not only to their length, but also to their depth and width. The right to do something that is given by someone in authority. Permission. We made sure that the gate was locked so that no one could come into the factory without permission. Something that you say or write in a formal way. Statement. The following is the full text of the U.S.-North Korea joint statement released by the White House. The act of paying for something. Payment. There are several tax payment options, whether you can pay in full right away or you need more time to come up with the money. An activity that a person or group does to entertain an audience. Performance. I'm looking forward to your dance performance tomorrow night. A description of what is expected to happen in the future. Forecast. During a weather forecast on television, you can see images of cloud patterns over Japan from the satellite. The way you act or feel in response to something. Reaction. For Kant, an 18th century philosopher, laughter was a reaction to a sudden, unexpected change. Needing someone or something in order to survive or succeed. Dependent. Japan's industrialization has been heavily dependent on foreign sources of energy and raw materials. Sharing some features but are not exactly the same. Similar. The microscope was developed using principles similar to the telescope. Fitting closely to your body. Tight. Research suggests that tight clothing can cause all sorts of health problems. Happening at times that are equally separated. Regular. In addition to taking the regular tests, we have to hand in a long essay. To tell someone about a possible danger or trouble so that they can avoid it or prevent it. Warn. The teacher let Tim go after warning him not to read comics in class. To ask for goods or services to be supplied to you. Order. The package arrived late and, to make matters worse, it wasn't what we had ordered. To get money in return for work that you do. Earn. Workers with college degrees earn significantly more than those without. To do something repeatedly to improve your skill. Practice. The more we practice for the concert, the better our performance will be. To find out whether something is in good condition. Check. If the pain in your throat becomes worse, have it checked at once. To believe that someone is good, sincere, honest, etc. Trust. No matter how many friends you have, your problems can't be solved unless you have someone you can trust. To take action to prevent something bad from happening. Avoid. When escaping from fires, smoke and gases should be avoided because they contain harmful chemicals. To become solid because of a low temperature. Freeze. Substances freeze at exactly the same temperature as they melt. A plan or suggestion which is made formally for people to think about. Proposal. The mayor turned down the proposal by the committee member. A building with a stage where plays and shows take place. Theater. No child under the age of 16 will be admitted to the theater. A substance that you take to cure an illness or injury. Medicine. It is very important for you to keep all medicines out of the reach of children. An accepted way of behaving in a particular group or place. Custom. Do you think it is necessary to observe the traditional customs? A particular way of doing something. Method. There is no reliable method of accurately predicting the time and place of an earthquake. An investigation of people's opinions or behavior done by asking people questions. Survey. The researchers carried out a survey intended to measure the number of calories children get from regular meals each day. The state of not having something or not having enough of something. Lack. They have to make up for their lack of experience with hard work. The final result of an action or event. Outcome. The teacher told us to predict the outcome of the experiment. Very noticeable and surprising. Dramatic. Climate change and environmental damage are two of the most dramatic challenges facing the world today, including all the parts. Complete. To make it easier for the fish to adjust to new water, partial water changes are much better than complete water changes. Enjoyed or liked by a lot of people. Popular. Small cars are becoming more popular these days since they are economical. Extremely small. Tiny. The houses look like rows of tiny cardboard boxes when you look out of the window of a plane in flight. To gradually reach or affect a larger area or more people. Spread. Some diseases can be spread only by direct physical contact. To keep something for you so that you will be able to use it at a later time. Reserve. The president had his secretary reserve a flight for New York. To give an answer or an opinion about something without definite knowledge about it. Guess. I guess listening to the boring lecture made me tired. To know or understand a particular fact or situation. Realize. I came to realize the need to manage my time more effectively. To prepare and produce a book, magazine, etc., so that people can buy it. Publish. Getting your biography published requires you to have a marketable story. To communicate with someone by telephone or letter. Contact. Is it possible to contact the police via the internet if there is an emergency? To use violence to hurt or damage someone or something. Attack. Bears rarely attack humans unless they feel threatened. To feel sorry or sad about something you have done and wish you had not done it. Regret. The short-tempered young man deeply regretted what he had said to his girlfriend as soon as he put the phone down. A way that is made by people or animals walking over the ground. Path. We were robbed of our energy by the steep and narrow paths in the mountain. The opinions and feelings that you have about something, especially when this shows in the way you behave. Attitude. Sylvia's attitudes toward the policy don't make sense to me. A choice or judgment that you make after thinking carefully. Decision. There was some exchange of opinions, but the decision was put off until next time. The cases and bags that you carry when you are traveling. Luggage. Would you mind keeping an eye on my luggage while I make a phone call? Unofficial information that may or may not be true. Rumor. Local rumor has it that he was secretly buried in that church. The things that you need to do a particular job or activity. Equipment. Today's best audio equipment almost recreates the sound quality of a live concert. The general way in which something is progressing or developing. Direction. Heavy industry is moving in the direction of more automated machines and less manpower. The place where something is situated. Location. Doing business no longer relies on location. Having a desire to know more about something. Curious. A curious crowd gathered at the site of the car accident and watched the outstanding performance of the rescue team. Not using too many words. Brief. This brief explanation will serve as an introduction to the book. Feeling physically relaxed without unpleasant feelings. Comfortable. In the 21st century, we can expect scientific advances to give more people than ever the means of leading a comfortable and easy life. Not depending on other people for help or money. Independent. Jane was already financially independent of her parents before she finished university. To say firmly that something is true, even though other people think it may not be true. Insist. The 18th century philosopher Immanuel Kant insisted that all lies are harmful. To select someone for an official position by voting. Elect. It is likely that the president will be elected for another term. To be present at an event such as a meeting or a class. Attend. All the students who are interested in studying abroad should attend next week's meeting. To design or create something useful for the first time. Invent. Who is credited with inventing the telephone? To suggest that someone does something. Encourage. Weather permitting, we encourage outdoor play as often as possible. To get something. Obtain. According to the law, you must be 18 years old or over to obtain a driver's license in Japan. To tell people about something officially. Announce. To our surprise, the mayor suddenly announced her resignation in spite of her high popularity. To take something away from a place. Remove. The company wants to sell its ability to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it underground. Something that you remember. Memory. Before the exam, I refreshed my memory by reading some old notes. A special right or advantage that is given only to one person or group. Privilege. As a member, you have the privilege of purchasing books at a 20% discount. Something that you do often or regularly, often without thinking about it. Habit. Especially at the beginning of a new year, one question that frequently comes up is how to get rid of bad habits. Something that is known by only a small number of people and not told to others. Secret. A secret that you carry to the grave is something you never tell anyone during your entire lifetime. Something that helps you to be more successful. Advantage. Biotechnology could offer great advantages to the whole world. The ability to see. Eyesight. What does eating blueberries have to do with good eyesight? The act of leaving a place. Departure. We delayed our departure on account of bad weather. The whole of space and everything in it, including the Earth, the planets, and the stars. Universe. Scientists are trying to figure out how the universe came into being. Containing a lot of people or too many people. Crowded. The museum was incredibly crowded with tourists struggling to see the Mona Lisa. As good as it could possibly be. Perfect. Use the following tips to pick the perfect roommate and avoid uncomfortable living situations. Not likely to change. Stable. We all know that friendships are precious, but we also understand that friendships are not stable. Happening very quickly. Rapid. The rapid growth of fresh fruit imports has affected many aspects of the U.S. fresh fruit market. To sell products or materials to another country. Export. 4 species of kangaroo are exported commercially from Australia. To begin to use a new attitude, policy, or method. Adopt. Some companies have adopted a new policy of using English as the official in-house language. To start to have a disease. Develop. If George doesn't stop smoking, he will run the risk of developing lung cancer. To make arrangements for something to happen at a particular time. Schedule. Can I schedule a delivery in advance? To go down from a higher place to a lower place. Descend. Descending a mountain is harder than ascending it. To go from one place to another. Travel. Sound travels at different speeds, depending on the temperature of the air. To help someone by showing that you agree with them. Support. The government promotes lifelong learning for the general public by supporting a variety of programs and providing necessary facilities. To have something inside. Contain. Scientists believe that the Milky Way galaxy contains approximately 100 billion stars. Something that you have to do as part of a job. Duty. After he joined the travel agency, he worked hard to improve his English in order to carry out his duties more effectively. A set of steps inside a building that allow you to go from one floor to another. Stair. Stairs. The old lady was out of breath from climbing up the stairs. The money that you earn from working. Income. Seniors, no matter what their source of income, often struggle to make ends meet. The act of destroying something. Destruction. All countries that are contributing to the destruction of rainforests should begin their own efforts to protect them. The process of cutting into a patient's body to remove, replace, or repair a damaged part. Operation. My mother is making a fast recovery after the operation on her knee last week. A feeling that you experience from one of your 5 senses. Sensation. What insect bite causes a burning sensation? The ideas and activities concerned with getting and using power in a country. Politics. Did the result of the general election of July 1993 bring about important effects on Japanese politics? Valuable objects such as paintings or ancient documents. Treasure. Should cultural treasures be returned to their country of origin? Behaving in a kind and pleasant way. Friendly. Fred and I once had a friendly argument over which makes a better pet, a dog or a cat. Very surprising and makes you feel pleasure or admiration. Amazing. Walking into an electronics store today, consumers are faced with an amazing variety of audio technology. Willing to give more than the amount that is usual or expected. Generous. Everyone was disappointed to hear that she had turned down the generous offer. Easy to see, notice, or understand. Evident. It is evident that a big mistake was made in calculating the costs of the project. To have an effect on a situation. Influence. The debate over how technology influences jobs is as old as the industrial era itself. To stop being angry with someone who has done something wrong and stop blaming them. Forgive. Many people think they are ready to forgive but want an apology first. To regularly pay money to use something that belongs to someone else. Rent. In spite of rising home costs, buying still beats renting. To take something that belongs to someone else without permission and without the intention to return it. Steal. What should I do if my wallet is lost or stolen? To need something. Require. He was able to teach sports which often required a lot of strength and endurance. To say something loudly. Shout. I don't mind if you disagree with me, but I object to being shouted at. To stay on the surface of a liquid without sinking. Float. People can float in regular water, but since salt water is even denser, it is even easier to float in the Dead Sea. To do something to entertain an audience. Perform. Dance is performed for a variety of purposes. A picture or shape used to express something. Symbol. Images of elephants are symbols of good fortune in both India and Mexico. The general weather conditions of a place. Climate. The majority of regions with Mediterranean climates have relatively mild winters and very warm summers. The act of choosing someone for a public office by voting. Election. The election is one of the key elements of a democratic state. A large amount of water that covers an area that is usually dry. Flood. Sometimes there is heavy rain for a very short period that results in floods. Something such as a box or bowl that can hold something. Container. The refund will encourage people to recycle drink containers. All humans considered as one group. Mankind. The most important function of animals to mankind is probably as a provider of food. Personal opinions about something. View. A college education will enable you to get a broader view of the world. Strong determination to do something that you have decided to do. Will. Strong will is the most essential quality for anyone who wants to achieve success. Most suitable for a particular purpose. Ideal. A role model is an ideal person whom we admire and aspire to be like. Existing or happening before something that you are talking about now. Previous. No previous experience is necessary for this job. Having the usual features of a particular group or thing. Typical. A bowl of steamed rice is included in typical Japanese meals. Achieving what was intended. Successful. The meeting was successful even though no clear conclusion was reached. To go from one side of something to the other. Cross. When driving near a school, Watch out for children crossing the road. To think that someone should do something. Expect. I expect all of you to be here 5 minutes before the test begins without fail. To make yourself ready for something that will happen. Prepare. I'm afraid I am not prepared to take the risk of losing all my money. To stop existing. Disappear. My confidence as a swimmer started to disappear the day Angela moved to our small town. To form an opinion about someone or something. Judge. You should know better than to judge by appearance. To get away from a place where you do not want to be. Escape. The story describes a young woman who moves to the countryside with her husband when he tries to escape his busy life in the city. To make someone believe that something is true. Convince. No one was convinced by his explanation at the press conference. To stop someone or something from doing something. Prevent. There are a number of measures that you can take to prevent the spread of viruses and bacteria. Someone who does a job without being paid for it. Volunteer. Those living in Tokyo seem to be less involved in volunteer work than the nation as a whole. A strong human feeling, such as love or anger. Emotion. You should not let your personal emotions stand in the way of making that important decision. The group of people who officially govern a country. Government. Today, the vast majority of governments around the world do not allow couples of the same sex to marry. A question you ask in order to get information about someone or something. Inquiry. The company has received quite a few inquiries from its customers. A task that you are given to do as part of a course of study or as part of your job. Assignment. Nearly half of the students didn't turn in the assignment. Words that you say in order to admire someone or something. Praise. Giving students effective praise is an important part of teaching. The process of keeping something in good condition by checking and repairing it regularly. Maintenance. The elevators are out of service for regular maintenance. Something that a country has and can use to increase its wealth, such as coal, oil, or land. Resource. The richest 20% of the world's population consume 86% of the world's resources. Physically strong and not sick or injured. Healthy. Getting the right amount of sleep is important for keeping ourselves healthy. Not liking work or effort. Lazy. He is by nature a lazy person, so we don't expect too much from him. Not being used by anyone. Vacant. Can I change seats after boarding if there is a vacant seat? Believing that a situation will get better. Positive. We received a lot of positive feedback on the new plan. To say that something is good or useful. Recommend. My friend Maria recommended a movie based on a best-selling novel, and she told me my favorite actor was starring in it. To make something smaller in size, amount, number, etc. Reduce. In recent years, people have become more health conscious and consequently have reduced the amount of fat they eat. To put something in a place where it cannot easily be found. Hide. Hiding cash and valuables at home can be risky business. To clean or dry something by using a cloth. Wipe. There are many health problems that can arise if you don't wipe your sweat. To go somewhere with someone. Accompany. Children 11 years and younger receive free admission when accompanied by an adult. To protect someone or something from danger or attack. Guard. Before a dog can be trained to guard your property, you must teach basic commands. To produce energy. Generate. Wind electricity is a form of renewable energy that uses airflow to generate electricity. To begin to exist. Arise. Concern about the possibility of mobile phones having ill effects on health arose in the mid-1990s. Something that causes disappointment. Pity. It's a pity you were unable to join the party. Someone who works with you. Colleague. The boss regrets employing him because he makes a lot of trouble with colleagues. The way you position your body when you are standing or sitting. Posture. People have long assumed that posture has played some role in back pain. A situation where there is not enough of something. Shortage. An increase in the population of a species may lead to food shortages. A moral rule or belief which influences your behavior. Principle. It is against my principles to borrow money. The act of examining something in detail. Study. A study shows that Japanese women bow more often than men. A story from ancient times that may or may not be true. Legend. According to local legend, if the person bathes naked, they will definitely be eaten by crocodiles for sure. The particular taste of a food or drink. Flavor. Fresh local vegetables are so delicious that little work is needed to bring out their flavor. Using your ability to think and understand things. Intellectual. Because of artificial intelligence, AI, skilled white-collar workers or intellectual workers are also at high risk. Able to be seen. Visible. You can get a decent Milky Way photo even when it's barely visible to the naked eye. Worried and anxious about something that might happen. Nervous. I am accustomed to public speaking, so I don't get nervous in front of large groups. Showing a lack of respect for other people. Rude. I had no choice but to put up with the guests' rude behavior. To try to find someone or something by looking carefully. Search. Spending less time outside the home, searching for food reduces the risk of being killed by other animals. To feel worried that something bad may happen. Fear. Many scientists fear that there may be far fewer polar bears thanks to the effects of climate change. To show what you are feeling or thinking using words or actions. Express. Expressing gratitude can make all the difference in your relationship. To ask for information about something. Inquire. The product that you inquired about is out of stock now. To give all your attention to what you are doing. Concentrate. It has been hard to concentrate on my studies lately because a road is being built in front of my house. To need something in order to work properly. Rely. The pilots that have landed at the wrong airports in the past have all been relying on visual information. To go to someone for information or advice. Consult. How much does it cost to consult a lawyer for legal advice? To become healthy and normal again. Heal. When a wound heals, it may eventually turn into a scar.
Someone who is applying for a job or competing in an election. Candidate. I want to vote for a candidate who will try to reduce unemployment. The fact of being present. Existence. Both children and adults alike wonder about the existence of ghosts. A feeling of sadness. Sorrow. Joy and sorrow are the light and shade of life. The act of helping someone. Assistance. In a crisis, emergency financial assistance can help you pay for living expenses. Someone who has written a piece of writing. Author. Treasure Island is an adventure novel by Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson. A piece of furniture used for storing clothes. Closet. Keeping your closet organized will help you keep your room neat and tidy. The number of people living in a particular area. Population. Japan's population density has helped promote extremely high land prices. An interesting or important part of something. Feature. The huge network of canals is a fascinating feature of the old city. Easily worried and upset by something. Sensitive. She is so sensitive that she cried for days when her pet died. Capable of dealing with dangerous or difficult situations without showing fear. Brave. Someone pulling an injured person out of a crashed car after an accident is considered brave. Unable to be found. Missing. The police called off the search for the missing child until dawn tomorrow. Made or done officially or publicly. Formal. Throughout his life, Thomas Edison maintained that formal education had not made him. To change from one thing to another. Switch. The bicycle lanes may persuade motorists in the city to switch from cars to bicycles. To protect someone or something from an attack. Defend. We must defend our right to privacy. To give someone a particular job or responsibility. Assign. In high school, I was assigned longer texts which had a larger vocabulary. To make it possible for someone to do something. Allow. It was the control of fire and the use of clothing that allowed humans to settle in the cold northern areas. To wish that you had the same qualities or possessions that someone has. Envy. Many people want to speak a second language fluently, and bilingual people are often admired or even envied. To know who someone is or what something is because of previous knowledge or experience. Recognize. Animals rely on the sense of smell to find food, to find mates, and to recognize their enemies. To put something in a public place so that people can go to see it. Exhibit. The rocket will be exhibited to the public at the Smithsonian Museum. To be made for carrying out a particular purpose. Intend. Ireland was the first nation to pass a law intended to reduce the use of plastic bags. Physical activity that you do in order to become stronger and healthier. Exercise. Exercise burns calories, offsetting the calories you take in and helping you maintain an appropriate weight. A treatment or medicine to cure an illness or pain that is not very serious. Remedy. A good remedy for a headache is an aspirin and a glass of water. An activity in which you give a formal talk to a group of people. Presentation. Her presentation left nothing to be desired. A clear difference or separation between similar things. Distinction. We have to make a clear distinction between public matters and private affairs. An area of water near the coast where it is safe for ships to stay. Harbor. The Nagasaki port is a natural harbor that is surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. A duty or responsibility that you have to deal with. Burden. Men say they are willing to share the burden of domestic work. The science and the methods that are used to raise crops and animals for food. Agriculture. One of the reasons for the growth of agriculture in California was to feed the large population there. An understanding of how good something is. Appreciation. Although I was extremely familiar with the book, watching the movie increased my appreciation of the original story. Relating to one particular country. Domestic. The U.S. domestic market receives orange imports from various countries and regions. Worried about something. Anxious. School administrators in California are anxious about the cuts proposed in the state budget. Having a lot of money and possessions. Wealthy. Do you need to be wealthy to realize a childhood dream of becoming an astronaut? Extremely unpleasant. Disgusting. Eating insects was considered disgusting or even primitive in Western societies. To succeed in doing something. Fulfill. To fulfill your dream, you need to take a little risk. To be used instead of something. Replace. Eventually, the 20 primary teeth are replaced by 32 permanent teeth. To behave in a particular way in order to deceive other people. Pretend. I could tell he was only pretending to read because his book was upside down. To angrily criticize someone who has done something wrong. Scold. It seems that there is an unspoken rule that you can't scold another person's child. To make a short, loud sound. Bark. It was a quiet night, and the only sound to be heard was a dog barking in the distance. To make a formal request for something such as a job, admission to a school, a loan, etc. Apply. You can apply for this scholarship on the condition that you have a letter of recommendation from your teacher. To think or say that someone or something is responsible for something bad. Blame. The politician was blamed for not carrying out his campaign promises. To be no longer legally used because the period of time during which it could be used has come to an end. Expire. I have to get my commuter pass renewed because it expires tomorrow. A piece of writing about a particular subject that is published in a newspaper or magazine. Article. My aunt often translates articles submitted to international medical journals. An object or piece of equipment that has been designed for a particular purpose. Device. First-time smartphone buyers may be surprised their new device doesn't come with instructions. Something that causes a change or a reaction in a human, an animal, or a plant. Stimulus. There is a decrease in response to a stimulus after being repeatedly exposed to it. A feeling that someone or something is important. Respect. People in big cities seldom talk to strangers out of respect for the privacy of others. The land along the edge of a sea, lake, or wide river. Shore. Why are waves always parallel to the shore on approaching the seashore? The ability to make good decisions and judgments using your knowledge and experience. Wisdom. I owe the progress I have made in English to the wisdom of my aunt. A large area of dry land that is usually covered with sand. Desert. The smooth surface of the desert makes it possible for camels to transport goods easily. The feeling of embarrassment that you have when you have done something wrong or stupid. Shame. There's no shame in reaching out for professional help. Causing pain and suffering to people or animals on purpose. Cruel. It is cruel to hunt animals for sport. Not covered by clothes. Bare. Gloves are a great solution for avoiding bare hand contact, but they can be inconvenient. Far away from large cities. Rural. When you travel to rural Japan, the impacts of population decline become apparent. Having the ability to think, understand, and learn things quickly and well. Intelligent. Human skulls contain brains around 3 times as large as those of even the most intelligent apes. To keep something in good condition. Preserve. Before refrigerators became common, vinegar was vitally important in preserving food in the form of pickles. To stop working because of old age. Retire. Employees are supposed to retire at the age of 60 in our company. To say that something is not satisfactory. Complain. So far as I am concerned, I have nothing to complain about. To continue to live in spite of difficult circumstances. Survive. Human beings have survived so far, but could now be risking their future. To say hello to someone or to welcome them. Greet. Manners of greeting vary from country to country. To change something slightly to make it work better. Adjust. Going through all the steps to adjust the brightness of my computer screen is a real nuisance. To start an organization or company in such a way that it is likely to last for a long time. Establish. Japan contributed greatly toward establishing the International Year of the Volunteer. To admit that you have done something wrong or illegal. Confess. When the police questioned him, he broke down and confessed. A thin paper container used for sending letters. Envelope. Postcards are usually mailed without an envelope. The amount of money that you earn for the work that you do. Wage. In Japan, the minimum wage depends on the industry and the region. A large area of rock with a very steep side. Cliff. Mr. Brown looked over the cliff and found he was standing at the edge of a vertical drop. The steady and continuous movement of goods, people, or information from one place to another. Flow. Europe has long been a popular destination in global migration flows. The line in the distance where the sky seems to meet the earth or the sea. Horizon. Why does the sun appear larger on the horizon than overhead? The study and practice of designing buildings. Architecture. He graduated at the top of his class with degrees in architecture and city planning. The regular rise and fall in the level of the sea on the shore. Tide. Understanding tides and currents will help you stay safe if you like to go swimming in the sea. A great success, achievement, or victory. Triumph. Let me congratulate you on your triumph in the tournament. Based only on facts and not influenced by feelings or opinions. Objective. Do you think objective journalism exists? Easily damaged or broken. Delicate. Ecosystems must maintain a delicate balance in order to stay vital. To a foreign country. Abroad. Bill had to leave his family behind when he went abroad to work. Having little importance or value. Trivial. There are so many reasons why people fight over trivial things. To stop something temporarily. Interrupt. The game on the main court was interrupted by a brief shower. To send out radio or television programs. Broadcast. The address will be broadcast live on ABC. To put information about someone or something on an official list. Register. All vehicles, new and used, must be registered before operating them. To come together to form something. Compose. A water molecule is composed of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. To mix food or liquid using a spoon or something similar. Stir. She stirred the mixture until it got to the boiling point. To come from something. Derive. Most of the English words derived from Latin and Greek roots. To take air into your lungs and let it out again. Breathe. Certain individuals, whether children or adults, have a tendency to breathe through the mouth instead of the nose. To disappear below the surface of water. Sink. Over 100 years ago, the Titanic sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean in less than 3 hours. An important work that a person or group of people has to do, which involves traveling somewhere. Mission. What kinds of missions are conducted by the Army? An unexpected event such as an earthquake or a plane crash that causes a lot of damage. Disaster. The European heat wave is one of the horrible natural disasters which happened in the world. The quality to do something dangerous or difficult without showing fear. Courage. It took a great deal of courage for the early explorers to set sail for distant places. A person or thing that is not included in a rule, group, or pattern. Exception. There is no rule but has some exceptions. A sum of money that you owe. Debt. The national debt of Japan has grown to more than twice the country's annual gross domestic product. A person who is receiving medical treatment. Patient. To recover his strength, the patient was made to raise his arms above his head many times every day. Time when you can relax and do things you enjoy without working or studying. Leisure. Due to the leisure brought about by technology, many people have the problem of adapting to a new way of life. An act of traveling from one place to another. Journey. During the rest of that day, there was no other adventure to disrupt the peace of their journey. More desirable or suitable. Preferable. When you have to drive, it's preferable to use a vehicle that includes eco-friendly features. Dirty or untidy. Messy. When a neat person lives with someone who is more inclined to be messy, it can cause quite a few problems. Having a small distance between opposite sides. Thin. Shabu-shabu is a delicious Japanese dish consisting of thin slices of meat or fish. Strange or unusual, often in an unpleasant way. Peculiar. When you sit in the car after it has been parked in the sun for a few hours, you'll notice a peculiar smell in the car. To make sure that something happens. Ensure. Installing a smoke alarm does not ensure the safety of your family. To decide that something that was officially arranged will not take place. Cancel. Can I cancel my booking if there's been an emergency? To provide a person or thing with necessary tools or equipment. Equip. Consumers prefer to purchase a computer equipped with a touchscreen. To do what a law or rule says you must do. Obey. Drivers always have to strictly obey the speed limit of the road. To make something active or successful again. Revive. It is estimated that considerable investment will be necessary to revive the country's tourism industry. To officially prevent someone from doing their job or from going to school for a limited time. Suspend. Students cannot take part in school activities or events while suspended. To control something by using rules. Regulate. Gun laws in the United States regulate the sale, possession, and use of firearms. To do something that brings a particular reaction or reward. Deserve. The judges all agreed that the group deserved the top prize for their amazing performance. A piece of paper, wood, or metal that gives information about something. Sign. Can you make out what that sign says? Very large animals which lived in prehistoric times. Dinosaur. It is very rare to come across a skeleton of a whole dinosaur, though it does occur from time to time. The act of giving money or goods in order to help a person or organization. Donation. This botanical garden was established in 2000 from citizen donations. Something that you must do for legal or moral reasons. Obligation. Helping the poor has been considered an obligation by major religions. The plants and trees in a particular area. Vegetation. In the Himalaya mountains, the vegetation changes according to the altitude. Something that you must have in order to live. Necessity. A car is an absolute necessity if you live in the countryside. The place where you can enter a room, building, or place. Entrance. The high security at the entrance prevented us from going into the building. A loud or unpleasant sound. Noise. When noise becomes irritating or harmful, it is considered pollution. Working hard with effort. Diligent. To be called a diligent and thorough worker is the highest form of praise. Based on personal opinions and feelings rather than facts. Subjective. Grading artwork has traditionally been a subjective activity. Likely to be successful or good in the future. Promising. Given the ocean's power, wave energy seems a promising source of renewable energy. Easily broken or damaged. Fragile. A new study shows that business friendships are fragile. To arrange for something to take place at a later time. Postpone. All things considered, the Chorus Club decided to postpone its winter concert. To make someone feel unhappy by not being as good as expected. Disappoint. The company president was disappointed with the poor performance of her new secretary. To make something such as time or money available for something. Spare. Susan gave up her job, so she has a lot of time to spare. To show that something is definitely true. Confirm. It has yet to be confirmed whether there are any survivors of the accident. To spend time or money on something. Pour. Investors tend to pour money in as markets near a peak. To make you feel annoyed or angry because you cannot do what you want. Frustrate. One of the reasons customers get frustrated about long wait times is that they're on their feet or stuck in place. To recognize someone or something and say who or what they are. Identify. The number of claws is important in identifying a wolf's footprint. To deliver something to a large number of people. Distribute. For centuries, newspapers were printed on paper and distributed to readers. An increase in popularity. Boom. Many of the castles in Japan are crowded with quite a few young people because of the recent history boom. The process of exchanging information or ideas. Communication. To improve communication, it is important to recognize differences in values. The amount of water contained in the air. Humidity. The effects of humidity on the human body can be profound and numerous. A mixture of different things or people. Combination. Jazz fusion is a combination of rock and jazz. Easy to recognize or understand. Plain. That he was tired was plain to see. Lasting forever. Eternal. The hotel can organize a special ceremony to exchange vows of eternal love. Not as good as something else. Inferior. Processed foods are in some ways inferior to their unprocessed counterparts. Neither large nor small in amount, size, strength, or degree. Moderate. You should be able to carry on a conversation if you are doing a moderate exercise. Showing a fact or situation that is based on something. Accordingly. Consumers' tastes vary, and markets meet their demands accordingly. Exactly. Precisely. It's not easy to define sleep precisely. In a way that was not planned or intended. Accidentally. Accidentally eating meat is the worst thing that can happen to you if you're a vegetarian. Often. Regularly. In most supermarkets, foods which people buy regularly may be located in different parts of the store on purpose. To change your behavior and attitudes in order to deal with a new situation successfully. Adapt. Even if immigrants work very hard in their new country, they might find it difficult to adapt themselves to the new culture. To make something right. Correct. Admitting and correcting mistakes does not make you look weak. It actually makes you look stronger. To pay the costs of a particular event in order to advertise your products or services. Sponsor. The event was sponsored by several local businesses. To move on your hands and knees. Crawl. When the rocks finally stopped falling, we crawled out of the cave. To make a connection between different people or things. Associate. The greenhouse effect is thought to be associated with global warming. To look at someone or something for a long time without moving your eyes. Stare. Staring at the sun without proper eye protection is a clearly bad idea. To disappear suddenly. Vanish. What would become of our planet if humans were to vanish? To officially give someone a prize. Award. Mr. Suzuki is a top salesperson for a cosmetics company who has been awarded many prizes for his performance. A collection of paintings, photographs, or other objects that are shown to the public. Exhibition. Art criticism will enable the viewer to appreciate an exhibition better. The things that happen to someone or something, especially in a way that cannot be prevented or changed. Fate. The fate of the many homeless dogs is tragic. An interesting or enjoyable place to visit. Attraction. Located 30 kilometers from Paris, the theme park offers you many attractions that will entertain your family. An argument or disagreement between people, groups, or countries. Dispute. A meeting of the two nations' foreign ministers finally put an end to the dispute. A large formal meeting where a lot of people discuss a particular subject. Conference. A conference was held to discuss the various benefits of using insects as an alternative source of food to pigs, chickens, and cows. A medical condition in which the temperature of your body is higher than normal. Fever. My grandmother always said you should sweat to reduce the fever when you have the flu. A person who has been chosen to act or speak on behalf of a group. Representative. The representatives made a plan for the school festival, and the other students carried it out. An official action that is carried out to achieve a particular purpose. Measure. To improve business performance, the company decided to resort to drastic measures. Doing something or arriving somewhere at exactly the time that has been arranged. Punctual. Trains in Japan are incredibly punctual. Unhappy or disappointed because something unpleasant has happened. Upset. Bruce was terribly upset when his girlfriend left him, but he soon got over it. Remarkable. Outstanding. The story was outstanding, but his acting was anything but excellent. Having a large distance between opposite sides. Thick. Thick eyeglasses sometimes make you feel like the weight of the world is on your nose. To be different from each other. Differ. Some people are apt to consider their own way of life as being the normal one and to look down on lifestyles that differ from it. To choose to leave your job. Quit. Permanent employees remain employed until they are fired or choose to quit. To try to discover all the facts about something such as a crime, accident, or scientific problem. Investigate. Not even 1% of the species in today's rainforests have been investigated by researchers. To make someone feel anxious about someone or something. Worry. It never occurred to me that my actions had worried my parents. To watch and check something carefully over a period of time. Monitor. Watching TV programs can be good for the education of children if it is carefully monitored. To make the meaning of something clearer by using examples. Illustrate. This picture illustrates a method of protection utilized by many animals. To refuse to accept something such as a proposal, a request, or an offer. Reject. Although he had a lot of experience in teaching, John's application for the position of full-time professor was rejected. To allow a child to do everything that they want. Spoil. Is it child abuse for parents to spoil their children too much? The opportunity or right to use something. Access. 3 of 5 people in the world still do not have access to the Internet. An exceptionally talented person. Genius. Can hard work and sincere effort beat inborn genius? A situation in which people or groups try to be more successful than other people or groups. Competition. Fierce competition between companies in the airline industry had led to lower prices and improved services. The fair treatment of people. Justice. Throughout history, many individuals have fought for justice and equality. A feeling of wanting to do or have something that is bad for you. Temptation. You must not yield to temptation. Someone who saw a crime or an accident and is able to describe it to other people. Witness. Police are appealing for witnesses after a large sum of cash was stolen. A guilty feeling about something bad you have done. Conscience. He struggled with his conscience after he committed the crime. The usual attitude or mood of a person. Temper. I can't put up with her temper any longer. Thinking that someone might be involved in a crime or some dishonest activity. Suspicious. The detective thinks the man he interviewed today is suspicious. Existing for only a limited period of time. Temporary. More and more companies have tried to hire temporary workers lately. Remaining firm in your support of someone or something. Loyal. The bond between a loyal dog and a caring owner is unbreakable, even between life and death. Feeling a need to drink something. Thirsty. The soldiers became desperately thirsty in the heat. To try to deal with a problem in a determined way. Tackle. Michael tackles tough problems on a daily basis, but he always finds solutions. To show the nature of something. Reflect. A great movie usually reflects its director's creative vision in the story or in the way it is told. To be similar to something. Resemble. Of all preserved foods, frozen foods most resemble fresh foods. To make someone suffer because they have done something wrong or illegal. Punish. He was punished for selling violent video games to minors. To copy someone or something. Imitate. Video games may make children imitate improper behavior. To think wrongly that a person or thing is someone or something else. Confuse. It is common for people to confuse fact and opinion. To officially choose someone for a job or position. Appoint. She became the first woman appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court. To say or do something as a reaction to something that has been said or done. Respond. The ability to interpret the signals given by other people and to respond effectively is clearly important for success in life. The effect that something has on someone or something. Impact. Many studies point to the negative impacts of social media on mental health. The belief in the existence of a god or gods. Religion. Many religions forbid alcoholic consumption or see it as sinful. A residential area that is outside the center of a city. Suburb. Would you prefer living in the city, suburbs, or country? A person considered separately from the group. Individual. Whether or not a task is pleasant depends on the individual. Written works, especially those considered to have value as art. Literature. As is often the case with literature, Herman Melville was recognized for his best work long after it was written. The feeling of being very worried that something is going to happen. Anxiety. A job interview can make even the most confident person tremble with anxiety. The practice of treating one person or group of people unfairly because of their sex, race, religion, or other personal features. Discrimination. There is a large movement against discrimination on the basis of race in that country.